got the coffee. Shoot, I think we're out of creamer today. But Nova, hey, you want to show them your puppies? Come here. Got some puppies. Oh, look at that little popper coppers. They're the cuties. Hey, little cuties. You guys are like 3 days old or something like that. Nova? I know, right? You watching them? You gotta watch them from the beast over there. Look at, she gets all defensive. It's so funny. She gets protective. If you guys are interested in a pup, let me know. Nova, get away from my coffee. No. There you are. What you doing over there? There we go. And now we got all 5 of you guys. But what up? Welcome back to the video. It's super early today. Gotta get this coffee in real quick. But we are going to be continuing that Caprice project, Efi project, but I gotta have some coffee first. I'll see you guys outside. Next up, we have that O2 wideband sensor that we gotta mount. So they give us this nice little flange here with the bung in it. We're gonna mount that guy, drill a hole there, and then just use these clamps to secure it. So we're gonna take this guy over there and mark our hole with our handy dandy marker. Let's see what we got going on here. We'll go ahead and put it on the driver's side here, and then we're gonna do it right about here, right after that collector flange there, at least about a 10 degree, so that way we don't have any buildup and condensation on that O2 sensor. So we'll put this here. I'll mark this guy around here, start drilling, and then put the clamps on, and then plug everything in, call it a day. O2 sensor is mounted, ready to go. Now, big thing is that when you're doing this guy here, make sure you put it in a position to where you can get a drill in there. You see how it was still super tight. Don't put it way over here where you can't get a drill or nothing like that, but make sure you take that in consideration. Get that all nice and snug. Now I got everything also tucked in, zip tied in right here. Got the connector right there as well for quick and easy access to disconnect this in case you got to remove your exhaust or something like that. So I like to take that in consideration. I got a few things to do up here on front. You guys see these lines hanging down. These are those new tranny lines that we ran. I haven't connected them yet to the cooler up front. I was waiting to do so because if you guys remember in the last video, we had to remove the alternator here to be able to remove the water. I'm sorry, to remove the water pump, to remove the fuel pump, and because we got to put a new block off plate there. So now that we're down here, I'm going to go ahead and put the new block off plate in here real quick, but we got to get this old plate off along with that gasket and RTV. So I got to scrape this off, put the new plate there, put the alternator back, and then finish running these lines, and then we can move up front and then tie up the stuff up front up, and then I'll see you guys then. All right, we have fuel pump block off plate is installed. We also have our lines kind of ran down, got them on nice and neat, tucked over here, goes up front, and then they land up front there. But we got to go get some lines, or I should say fittings, to hook it up to that cooler he's got up there. Engine side, now I went ahead and ran coolant temp sensor. That's installed. That's the one that comes from the kit. I also went ahead and cleaned up a bunch of this vacuum lines he had. I don't remember if you guys saw the picture or the video on the last time. I went ahead and just cleaned up all his vacuum lines from this brake booster. We still got to go connect the other vacuum line for the PCV valve, but I got to go to AutoZone and pick up an adapter. Also went ahead and ran his return fuel line on this side here. Now you guys got to remember on these sniper kits, the return line, if you get the one with the regulator built in, it has to go right there. Return line has to go right where the regulator's at. But the fuel feed can go in any 3 other ports. You have one here, you have one in the front, and one on the back side. We're probably just going to run it to the back. It'll be a lot cleaner install. But all we got left is to run that fuel feed and the vacuum line on this area of the engine, and it's all complete. But I gotta go get that adapter, and then we got to go ahead and kind of bleed, in a sense, that feed, kind of make sure there's no dirt, dust, and debris inside the line, so that way we'll flush it out before we plug it in. So I want to make sure we do that. And what we got left is obviously hook up the terminals at the battery. So we are inside the car now. It is time to mess with this guy here a little bit. We got everything hooked up as far as wiring goes now. I will say this, we will go into more details at the end of this video, kind of a whole rundown from the wiring to the fuel system to any issues I ran into to anything that might help you guys with the install. But let's go ahead and set this guy up here. So we're gonna go ahead and turn our ignition to the on position, not cranking. All right, this thing should start up here. Okay, looks like we're gonna go to our wizards. Let's see here, and we're gonna select the model that we have, which is this guy here, the 4150. Next, 8 cylinders. I believe we have a 350. Next, idle target speed, we're gonna say, whoops, we went too far. Let's say around 750. This car doesn't really have anything crazy in it. It should be all stock, if not a mild cam. They're gonna select cam type, stock and mild. Let's see. Oh, my phone's ringing. All right, power outer, none. Coil, we're gonna do the ignition negative because we have a HEI distributor. Let's see, and then hit next, and then let's see, hit start. Initializing. Oh, I hear the fuel pump cutting on. Please cycle the ignition to complete the operation. So we're gonna cycle the ignition real quick to so that way this thing learns everything. Now I do have our fuel line also feed. I have it running to a gas tank to kind of just basically filter everything out, make sure there's nothing in there that any shavings from cutting the hose or anything like that. I'm gonna do this a couple times to kind of get that fuel pump and line cleared out. All right, I'm gonna go check on that, and we'll come back, see if we can get a first start. We should have fuel coming out of here a little bit of prime there, looking good. Okay, cool. So we'll cut this line down, hook it up to our sniper kit, cut it to length, and hook everything up and see if this thing will turn over. It's getting hot, y'all, but I think we got everything pretty much dialed in the front side of the car. So let's turn the key, see what happens real quick. Now remember, these pumps, let them prime just for a second here. We do got low fuel. All right, y'all, we went ahead and got everything dialed in. Did it without you guys just because I know you guys don't want to see that stuff, the old school timing thing, you know what I mean? But you will need the timing light. So you guys can see I got my timing light. We just finished using it. Now you want to make sure that you guys set the timing correctly as you set it on that ECU in that little USB bus module from Holley, because it's got to be able to basically say, hey, my timing is set at 15 degrees. Make sure the actual engine is running at 15 degrees if that's what your timing is. Now obviously every car will be different. That's kind of where I set it for this one. It seems to be running the best at that. So make sure you correspond the timing that you set on the setup through the wizard. Same thing with the engine. So that's why you're gonna need the timing light. Make sure you unplug your vacuum advance, unplug that, and then plug the line as well before you set it. Let's go over these tips and tricks and stuff and all that things that might help you guys out as well. As a matter of fact, let's go over the wiring real quick. So the wiring, you're really just gonna have just a few pigtails that you're gonna use. So you're gonna have the main one that comes off this guy here that'll run back and connect. We have it kind of connected here, and then it's the one that has all your relays. I don't know if you guys can see, but I kind of tucked them back there. So our relays are back there hidden, and that'll also have a little small fuse with that relay. But you're gonna have the blue wire. The blue wire is obviously your fuel pump. We ran that, connected it to the wire that we ran for our fuel pump for power. And then you're gonna have positive and negative terminals that we ran over here. Make sure you have those as well. So you have 3 wires there, and then you're gonna have 1 wire. I actually got it running through the backside over here that goes directly to an ignition key on hot. Make sure you got at least 12 volts while cranking. That's super important. So that's another wire that you're gonna have to run. Just find a good source for your ignition. And other than connecting your coolant temp sensor, that's pretty much it as far as wiring, guys, goes. You are not going to use, at least if you're running the HEI distributor setup, you will not use that big bulkhead connector. At least I'm not using it. It does have the options to like be able to run the, what do you call that thing? Be able to run like your fans off of it, your distributor, no, I'm sorry, not your distributor, to be able to run off your tack. Like if you guys have an accessory tack or an extra one on the side or something like that, it has the output for it, but you don't need to run it because he's got Dakota digital gauges in here, so we don't have to mess with that. Same thing with the fans. We already got our fans getting controlled, so Holley just kind of puts all that stuff in there as an accessory, as a different way to control everything. So but you don't need to run any of those, at least not with this setup. Don't have to run that. Now, one big thing is the vacuum lines. Make sure you guys plumb the vacuum lines accordingly. Now, the one thing that I found that we had to go get, you see that guy in there? I left it there just like that on purpose so you guys can see it. That is a barb fitting. There was a plug that goes there usually, and we had to go out and get that barb fitting so we can run our PCV vacuum line off of it. So that's this guy here, because on the backside there's not enough ports. So make sure Holley does not provide that barb fitting, so you're gonna have to get that. That's where you'll run your PCV vacuum lines out. On the backside, the bigger one, you'll run the actual brake booster. You don't want to run them together, remember that. Don't run them together, but make sure you get all your vacuum lines hooked up. Return line, obviously this is our return line where the fuel pressure regulator is at. Feed is on the opposite side. Not a whole lot, guys. It's not too bad. I think the hardest thing is actually like getting all the old stuff off, like between the fuel system and then block off plate down there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Getting that block off plate installed, you're gonna need that. What else here? Just like I said, the biggest thing is getting your fuel lines ran, a return line and a feed line, getting those ran, removing the old fuel pump, getting the fuel pump and return line set up at the tank. That's super time consuming, by the way. Other than that, finding a spot for your actual screen, your Holley touchscreen. But we put ours in the glove box because he kind of didn't want it in the car, so we actually put it in the glove box. Right now it's just probably sitting right there. We just got it kind of sitting on the dash right there because we're messing with it, but I ran into the glove box. Make sure you guys run that line through where you're going to run it, and then through the engine bay with the grommet. Also keep that in mind. But I'm trying to figure out, make sure I didn't leave anything out for you guys. That way, hopefully this information helps you guys out. But the car is running really smooth now. I mean, as a matter of fact, let's get a start real quick for y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. We are going to take it on a little drive, make sure all the vitals look good. But where's my keys at? Oh, where are the keys at? Where are the keys at? Oh, there they are. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, a little Goose Performance. Yeah, buddy, you know we had to hook them up with one of those. Guys, you guys have not got your swag, go to gooseperformance.com, get you those key tags, hats, shirts, stickers, bottle openers, you name it. If I can get this key up in here, let's see. You always want to let that thing prime up a little bit, just like that. Start right up. Look at that. I like it. I like it. Sounds real good. Oh yeah. She is purring, y'all. 28-inch rims though, got the 4Gs. Sounds real good, y'all. Sounds real good. We're gonna actually head to the gas station real quick and give this thing a bath too. We're gonna head and pull all this stuff off real quick, close the hood. Oh yeah, one other thing, let me turn the car off here. So one other thing, guys, I forgot to mention, if I can hear me over this fan, that bolt, center section bolt, you're gonna have to cut that thing down, as this thing sits a little bit higher, and make sure you got plenty of clearance on your distributor back there. This one has a little spacer, so you might have to do that. But other than that, not too bad, but we're all set up. Let me go ahead, start ripping this stuff off, our protection, head to the gas station. I'll see you guys in a bit. Kid, we'll see you guys back at the house. We back at the house. Check this thing out. I want to show you guys this door. It's pretty slick. Look at that. Haha, that is pretty slick. That's dope. Not a bad idea, huh? Pretty nice, you guys. This thing is pretty nice. Yes sir, we got her all cleaned up though, ready to go, looking good on the 4Gs. Man, this thing look good. Guys, subscribe, like button, bell for notifications, y'all already know. And guess what, stay wrenching.